I do believe I'm live now, hopefully. Hi there. This is Monica with the Body Electric Supplement. And just making sure everything is A-okay back here. I have my cat down here. Uh, it is Monday. It is Valentine's Day. I can just imagine all the people who are getting married on a Monday. And before I go into too deep into what I want to talk about, um, I do have a pet peeve about days of the week, and kind of one of the reasons why I want to share my experience with people is at least I want to say maybe for the past 7 to almost 10 years, I've been kind of in a way been living my best life, or gone through the fire to live my best life. I don't want to say go through the fire, but living my best life. And I don't do anything I don't want to do in my life. Okay, and that includes the day job. I like my job. Like I'm one of those rare people apparently out here in the world that I like what I do, and it is my passion to do. And I wish more people would explore their passion in their life, so that they don't have to feel like you see these memes. Um, Lately, I try to get away from social media as much, but you see these memes of people talking about on a Sunday, like how like, oh, I gotta go back to work. I was like, you get to have a job. First of all, you don't have to be working, right? Your body is able to be working. And I think a lot of people take things for granted. And yeah, that's one of them. Like you don't have to work there. That's something I learned. Maybe I need to tell my a bit of my uh, origin. I don't even call it even an origin. My journey when it came to finding my purpose, finding what it is that inspires me, and to where I am right now, to have the flexibility to, like I said, live my best life. I like Mondays. I like all the days of the week. I do. And I wish more people would. So there's that. All right. So I titled this Self Love is Personal Power. And that's one of my beliefs also. There's a lot of people using the term self love. Sorry, you may see me adjusting my scarf a little bit. A lot of people using the term self love, and that's fine, but it seems as though, well, my Valentine, it seems as though many people are starting to get fatigued with that term because it's being overused. It's being overused, and a lot of people are kind of it's losing its meaning. So people talk about self love, but what is it really? Okay, I happen to think what self love is making use of personal power, of you care enough about yourself to do what it is necessary to give yourself, um, grant yourself happiness, because no one else is in charge of your happiness except for you. Okay, so when people talk about I'm looking for somebody to love me, it's like love yourself. Give yourself the things you need to grant the love that we have the right to. Now, one of the things I do teach. Okay, so um, I tell the children that we have basic needs. Okay, Food, clothing, shelter, love is one of those. Like, yes, we do. We need it. It is a thing because it produces reactions in our body. That's why. That's why I say that. And you can produce those things on your own, okay, without outside forces. Okay, you can produce those chemical reactions or chemical infusions or explosions or I don't know that you need. Okay, love is a pain uh, healer. Okay, you can use things like oxytocin to, you know, heal your body. You know, there's more and more science around it, and that makes me so excited. Um, the use of serotonin for knowing that the research has been out there, the use of serotonin to continue to motivate people to succeed in their goals in life. Yeah. So, like I said, yeah, there is science out there, and we need to start tapping into knowing how to do that for ourselves. Okay, because we can make ourselves depressed, or we can make ourselves content, and that's kind of what I want to talk about a little bit with personal power, because that's really what self-love is. It's showing off your personal power. Through my study of, I guess, human behavior and communication, I do have a background in communication and in music and in education. So, yeah, you'll see me pop a lot around those topics sometimes. But we learn the importance of, I don't want to say this, using that personal power, yeah, to increase, sustain your self-esteem. We grow up in a society where we are taught what is expected of us. And I will say, since the Industrial Revolution, at least, we have been taught to compete, compete, compete to earn love. But we don't have to earn love. So things like love stories, watching Disney, you know, butchered fairy tales, because the real fairy tales are not what people think they are sometimes. So we have been taught, I don't know, at least for 2, 3 generations, that, or longer than that, so a generation is 20 years, but longer than that, where we have to fight. We have to earn somebody's affections, or yeah, we don't need that. You need your own, most definitely. And what happens is, once we put ourselves out there to try to compete for somebody's affection, that affects your self-esteem. And then it makes you really question things like, well, am I young enough? Am I slim enough? Am I the right skin tone? Do I practice the right religion? It really starts chipping away at self-esteem, when really all you are is who you are. You deserve love just because you exist. And I know a lot of people have heard that before, but it's true. And there are some practical things that people can do to start working that out. Exhibiting personal power, going into oneself, doing that inner work is one way. It's the way, quite honestly. So there might be uh, the conditioning growing up where you felt like you had to earn your parents' affection, whether you imagine it or you actually did have to live up to that. You know, parents would only praise you if you did well in school or things like that. You did what they wanted you to do, what they wanted you to do. Uh, you had friend groups that would only accept you if you acted and did certain things a certain way. And yes, like I said, that does chip away on of your self-esteem. And maybe therapy helps to really iron that out. Inner work also, if you feel, I mean, I'm not a doctor, so we all have to come and figure out solutions for what it is we need. And even before, there's even a step before that. You actually have to want it. And I know that sounds crazy. There is a lot of people who like being sad and miserable because of the chemicals. Again, back to the what we give ourselves, you know, feeling something. And I'm saying this only because I've lived it. I've lived through it myself. And I know I'm speaking at least a little bit from my own experience, enjoying being sad. I'm going to tell you a little story time. When I was little, I loved to sing and still love to sing. That's the reason why I'm a musician. But I used to make up little songs and sing them. And one of them, I remember even now, I was like as young as, I don't know, probably 5 or something. Oh my gosh. It was like kind of like a parody of Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Oh gosh. Um, where I would say things like, nobody cares, nobody loves me, nobody knows if I'm dead or living. Yes, I did that. I programmed all that into myself. And when I started, I don't know, the journey of self discovery, I don't know if things really started changing for me until my 30s in that regard. Because, again, we live in a culture where it's okay to bash yourself. It's okay to, say, oh, be humble, but that's not being humble. And I know I slipped into such depression, and it was one time where I can name a few, but one time where I was an adult. I was actually driving to somewhere to like an event or something, and I was sitting in my car and I was just miserable. I was just miserable. And something clicked in that moment where I was like, I can't do this anymore. This is exhausting. I cannot do this anymore. And thus, the spark of things happening for myself. And I'm not going to say it just instantly changed over. It did not instantly change over. But at least acknowledging that. And then already intuitively knowing some things that were helpful and some things that were not helpful. One thing, growing up, yes, I listened to certain kinds of music, depressed, sad, mopey teenagers. Yeah, we used to listen to that. But then I did have a boundary. And I'm going to talk about boundaries in a second. So I did have a boundary. There was a certain kind of music that I just couldn't get into because it was just so negative and it was just so treated the opposite of what it was. It was inciting violence. It was negative, and because I was a budding hopeful musician, I would research a lot of the performers to realize that a lot of the things that they were writing about weren't really true anyway. And they were doing it for the record labels and for money. And so I was like, I just, I can't get down with this, you know? So other people would probably, make fun of me like, oh, you're a nerd. That's nerd queen, by the way. It's like, oh, you're a nerd. You don't like what the popular kids listen to, and you don't like this. And I would ask them questions. Well, why do you like this song? It's like I like it for the beat. I'm like thinking to myself, are you not hearing the words? Are you not hearing the violence? Like, are you not acknowledging that? And again, here we are, some what I don't know, many years later, where the science is now catching up with us. Yes, you are very much, and I know. Again, I'm gonna go back into the '80s. Yeah, we talk, what was her name? Al Gore's wife, Tipper or something. Yeah, where she was like, oh, the gangster Robin, oh, the things. I mean, she kind of had a point, y'all. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. She had a little bit of a point. Like, I say a little bit, but but yeah, I just couldn't get down with certain kinds of music. Just couldn't. And even now, I'm in, a few bands and I perform certain music. I was thinking about that the other day where my bandmate kind of wants me to sing certain songs. And I'm like, I'm trying to, in a nice way, say, no, it's not for me. Yeah. So, yeah. Because last year, my thing was embody the feelings of what it is that you do, embody it all. So, yeah, setting boundaries, that is your personal power. That is self love. Okay, so now we get down to it. Setting a boundary. You don't have to be mad to set a boundary. There's a lot of people who think that they have to wait until like they're up to here. And maybe I would say only if you just never took the time to do inner work. Again, back to that. And you've never learned about yourself and the things that you care about, the things that motivate you, the things that uh, disgust you, the things that charge you, like recharge and charge you into life. So there is that. You don't have to wait for somebody to just push your buttons, especially chances are they know it better than you do. So you actually have to dig deep, go in there, figure out what it is that makes you tick. Okay? What makes you who you are? Then you set your boundary, you know, with yourself and how that will embody to all others. Okay? You give yourself time. When people say things like, "Oh, I don't have enough time," it's like, well, what do you do with your time on your own time? Do you respect your time? Then why should you think anybody else would? That was one of the first things in a friend group I was in, again, years ago, that, a couple of the people just did not respect other people's time at all. At all. And I know I did something kind of snarky, knowing that was their behavior, that was their habit. And I kind of did something, well, like I say, it wasn't horrible, but it was snarky. But knowing that told me that, I don't have to put up with this. I do not have to be okay with somebody not respecting my time. I do not have to be okay with that. And so because of that, I let them go with love. You know, I don't reach out. That's another part of the boundary where if you're the only one that's doing all the work, all the reaching out, and you don't like it, you don't have to do it. Okay. You might be taking a road that seems a little tougher at first. You might feel a little scared. But it will be worth it in the end when you start observing your own boundaries, and then people start noticing, like, oh, so and so's not calling me all the time anymore. But maybe at first they're thinking maybe something's wrong, or maybe they're mad at me. It's like you don't have to be mad. It's like, look, this is what I want. This is what I need. You know, and you don't even have to confront people. That's the other thing. It's like that's to me a form of trying to get validation. Again, looking for that love in all the wrong places. Literally, you're trying to validate what you want by trying to make speeches and pontificate and all this other stuff. And it's like you don't have to do all that. Just live your life. Either they'll pick up on what you're putting down or they won't. And I'm not talking about ghosting. This is not ghosting. This is an example that I'm saying. It's like they have your phone number just like you have their phone number. Um, they have, if they got a cell phone, there's a clock on it, okay, to respect your time. Those little things. And like I said, I'm literally thinking of the people in my brain right now that have done that to me in the past, and I'm just like, I don't feel bad about it. I don't. Because if they really, really cared, again, they know where I am. If they want to reach out to me, they know where I am. Or they don't, so you start to learn what it is that you really want. And I don't want to say that it's a tall order. You're not high maintenance. You want what you want and you need what you need in your life. That is self-love. And recently in a group, so I still occasionally do some group sessions. And it was with a young man, of all things. Like, I guess when I say young, it's like I think he's still in college. So for creatives, so I have coaches. Um, we were talking about, do you deserve, like, what makes you the one to, because one thing that happens with creatives, it's like a lot of friends and family will sometimes say things like, well, why are you trying to do all of this? Do you think you're special? So we had to have some discussions around that. And the young saying in my group, he said it. Let me see. Like, I took notes first. I'm like trying to figure out what exactly he said. Yeah. So in this world that I know I'm in, and a lot of other people are in to be better. We're trying to do better, be better, and be happy doing it. Like, we don't have to earn somebody else's love. Okay, we do it for the joy of ourselves, our own joy. And so he said, let's see, found it. He said, I kind of pared it down. So it's like, self-love is the practicing of habits that will benefit your future self. Okay. So this is in general. So instead of trying, like, of course you want to give friends and family benefit of the doubt for certain things, like, I don't know, being late or whatever, let's just call it that, being late. But once you realize that they have a pattern of doing that, then you have to decide, like, look, do I want to keep doing this to myself, my future self? If I try it again, and my future self will be anxious and upset, my future self will be like, well, why did you trust him again? It's like, you see the pattern. See the pattern, you decide what you want to do, and then you act. Okay? Life coaching is like that. So it's like, you decide, and then you do it. So the habits of, taking care of your body, taking care of your mental state, emotional state, spiritual state, that is important. And that's something I think a lot of people really don't think about when they are seeking love from outside. You got to know what you need to grow, the seeds in you that will sprout and make you flourish. you know? So if you, let's just go with a health example. So say you're looking to, and everybody talks about losing weight, but say you want to lose weight. So self love looks like, well, ask yourself, why do you want to lose weight? Like, am I at a healthy weight? So hopefully you're going, getting tests done, blood work done, and all that other stuff. It's not just about the pounds. Hopefully it's about the health. Ask yourself why. Then you you go about looking at those habits that a person that you aspire to be has. Like a fit person. A fit person exercises. A fit person eats uh, a proper diet for themselves. A fit person um, has they eat in moderation. So those are the habits, and what do we do to get those habits? How do we get there? Um, and from there you start developing and working on those habits. Like I have an exercise that I've been developing. I don't know where my notes are. Oh wait, here they are. I don't know if I'm ready to reveal it. Maybe this will be a great exercise. I call it the iceberg exercise. So it is when, just like the iceberg, yeah, okay, some of it's here. An iceberg, you see but the tip, right? But underneath, there's so much more. And in order to be what people see, you got to be all the things underneath that they don't see. And you got to get down in there to figure out what that is. Okay. So I'm going to make this a little short. I was going to do an hour long, but I want to leave you with this exercise, practicing, figuring out your habits, figuring out what would make you proud, your future self proud of you today. Think of it that way. What is going to make your future self proud of you today? That is self love. And if you're not sure what that is, let me give you a quick rundown of my exercise that I have been devising. I'm calling it the iceberg exercise. So again, you think of what the person you want to be does in their everyday life in order to be that thing, okay? And you start, and this is also a journaling prompt if you would like. So then you would start writing sentences, asking yourself, say for example, and again, I work with creatives, so I wrote the example singer. So if you want to be a professional singer, a singer sings songs, okay? After that statement, then you ask yourself, and what else does a singer do? A singer learns songs, okay? And what else does a singer do? A singer studies music. Now, do you see what I'm getting? So now you have the action plan, the things you have to be doing to be that person. If you're still like, I don't know. If you don't know, let me keep running it down. So, and then a singer trains their voice. That is what a singer does to be a singer. Then that means that's the things you need to be doing to be a singer, right? Um, so yeah, I don't think I've gotten that far when it comes to what if you don't know? Go find out. Find people who, I don't want to say copy, be a hero, like find out their origin stories, whoever it is. I know growing up, I did a lot of research of that. Like that was kind of one of my things. Like I paid attention to people's uh, interviews and origin stories and what made them who they were, and tried to, I don't want to say emulate, but try to remember that there's a common theme. It's like never giving up. That is definitely a common theme in a lot of them. You don't give up. Okay? Start exercising your personal power. Okay? This here, Valentine's Day, from day one until the end. Okay? That is self love. Making your future self proud of you today. Okay. So yeah, hopefully if you're ever interested in session work with me, you can always reach out or just watch all my videos. I'm sure you can get something out of the free content. So enjoy. Have a wonderful, wonderful day of love, self love, personal power. Take care. Like this video.